The Ash Lutzi and Nikki Osborne podcast.
Now, we were talking just last week about someone who was Brisbane born and bred, who did something quite remarkable down in Sydney Hospital. He created a titanium heart, and he has put this into a man who is now out there living in the world, and we've been lucky enough to get him into studio today. Everyone welcome Mr. Daniel Timms. Daniel, thanks for coming to chat to us. This is amazing.
Thanks for coming in, mate.
Sure, thanks for being here.
I don't know.
Does he have volume?
I don't even know where to start, Dr. Daniel. Talk us through, that moment when you're sitting at home and going, this might be a good idea. Like,
well, you're listening to the Sia song and they thought maybe that's... Yes. Doesn't she have a song called Titanium Heart?
Yeah, Sia, right?
Yeah, you went, hang on.
Exactly
Like, what was the genesis for it? Like, talk us through the process.
Yeah, I mean, at the time it was like as a graduate student in QUT just down the road here in
Really?
Brisbane. Yeah, just down the road. And
University for the real world.
that is, yeah, in the city.
Yeah, except unlike us, he got a useful degree.
Yeah. I was a graduate from there, but, I didn't quite use it the way you have.
No.
Yeah, but I guess I was fortunate to, as being a reporter, my father was a plumber, right? So, it made a little bit of sense if we're going to try to make an artificial heart, a pump. There was a bit of a history there, and so he's certainly helping out with some of those ideas as it went through, yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, totally, yeah.
So you reckon that there's a genuine correlation between
Totally.
that and what you've created with the heart?
Absolutely, yep, totally.
Oh, my God. That
I
gives
love that so
gives me
much.
goosebumps.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Did you ever bring your dad in to try and, tell everyone how it would work better? No, you need the force coming up from here and the fluid will come out there.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, as has been reported as well, he had heart failure at the time and he passed away in 2006. But for that first 5 years, we're working together on prototypes like this. And, one anecdotal story actually is in our pump right now is that, he was working on pumps and pipes in the backyard and pools. And, the pumps sometimes get clogged up with leaves, right?
Yeah,
so
you got to clean the
you got to clean it
box.
out. So
Don't act like you know, don't. Yeah.
So what do you do? And it's in our pump right now. So what do you do is backwash it, once a day or so to backwash the leaves out. We do the same thing in our pump now. We drop the pump speed down once every minute, just to kind of backwash things through the pump and keep everything clean.
Wow.
So it really comes down to that stage, yeah. How about that?
And heart failure is a global epidemic. It's something that, it doesn't help just our community. This is something that will go global,
It's
I assume.
worldwide. Absolutely, yeah. I mean, at the moment, we're kind of based over in the US now, and we're doing trials with FDA, doing implants over there. We did 5 implants last year, and then we had that Aussie implant in November last year.
Now, how is the Aussie guy going? You must be in touch with him quite regularly, seeing how he's feeling. How's he doing?
Yeah, I was actually down in Sydney yesterday, popped by and had a chat with him. He's now recovering from his heart transplant. So we had our device for 3.5 months. And he then left the hospital for a month, and then they found a heart transplant for him, which is pretty tough to do. There's not many of them around, but one come along, so it's like, okay, ready to go. So they took the titanium heart out and put a donor heart into him, and he's had that now for 2 weeks, and he's recovering in ICU. And I saw him yesterday. He was just coming out of the hospital, kind of just, sitting outside and getting a bit of sun.
So just to explain, how much of the actual heart is titanium? Because you said a donor heart. Is there still actual... real heart
there is
part of it, or?
There is. I mean, actually, the heart is in 4 chambers, right? And you have 2 chambers that then feed the pumping part of the heart, the ventricles. So what we do is we remove the ventricles completely, and those 2 chambers at the top are remaining there, and they're kind of stitched into those 2 chambers. And then the pump of our titanium heart pumps the blood around the body. And then when the donor heart happens, you take the titanium heart out and connect still to those 2 chambers there.
So the titanium heart is to be used until?
At the moment, that's what we're using it for, until the donor heart can be found. However, as we progress along and you get more confidence with the device, then they don't come back for a transplant at all. They just have this for the rest of their life. Keep the titanium heart forever.
Dr. Daniel, can I ask you, from your original idea, whenever that moment was that you went, oh, geez, Dad, plumbing, titanium heart, backwash could work. How long did that take, and then how much from that original idea did you stray for whatever reason, or how close is it to that original concept?
Yeah, it's interesting, actually. I mean, this is 23 years now, so 2001 is when I started PhD in Brisbane here. And then I've got a sketch in August 2001 of pretty much a cross-section of what this thing looks like right now. So it didn't stray very much at all from that original concept, yeah.
Wow, that's great.
Wow, so 24 years, is that right? 24 years
Around about that,
you've
yeah.
been building this
Exactly,
thing.
yeah.
And is it so? Obviously, that's the heart, but the obvious progression of that is that this can be used in other parts of the body and different, organs and things like that. I mean, is that a realistic progression as well? I'm not saying we're going to be RoboCops. You know what I mean? Like but there's that sort of.
But the heart's
it
the
sits
pump.
somewhere in the middle of that, right? Like
It
I don't
is.
know. Like,
yeah, well, there's a whole community and field of artificial organ development, eyes and kidneys, like dialysis. This sort of thing is all a field of artificial internal organs, and the heart is one of them. It's a main part of that. But yeah, there's certainly other things that we learn, particularly about like how the compatible of the materials can be applied to other organs as well. Yeah.
And, okay.
Oh, it's incredible. We just wanted to get you in and say, meet you. And that story spins me out about your dad being a plumber and the correlation there and then the original concept being almost identical to what we've got now. And how much work's gone into it? Two decades worth of work.
2 decades. But what's your day to day now? Like, are you working on new projects now, or where do you go to work?
Yeah, I mean, it's all over the place at the moment. As mentioned, I was in Melbourne 2 days ago, then Sydney yesterday, and Brisbane here, and then back to LA on Monday. So kind of moving all over the place. But, at the moment, we're just pushing the device through more implants and more patients and, learning more about how it works and ultimately getting to that goal where we don't have to do that transplant.
Could you make Ferrari Formula One engines better?
Because
that's where he's wearing a Ferrari hat.
That's what
and
he was
at
doing
the
in
Grand
Melbourne.
Prix. That's
Yes.
what he was doing in Melbourne.
He wasn't working
it's
in
not all
Melbourne.
work.
Yes.
It's not all work.
Now you understand where my motivations are. Ultimately, one day I want to work for Ferrari.
There we go.
Who better
Help
than
them-
you, Doc?
Right, help them win a championship finally.
Oh, how fantastic.
That'd be a book I'd read.
Finally doing some worthwhile work. Well, Dr. Daniel Timms, it's great to
That's
meet you, mate.
amazing.
Congratulations. That's truly making a difference. And thanks for joining us this morning.
Yeah, thanks again. Thanks for having me.
The Ash, Lutzi and Nikki Osborne podcast.